So, good afternoon, everybody, to another interesting panel session. We are in the middle of the afternoon of the second day, and I'm very happy to replace my colleague. As you might have seen, I'm not Eleni Andreanopoulou, not only because my outfit is not really very Greek, but also because I'm male. My name is Johannes Müller. I'm from the University of Cologne, and I'm happy to step in to my colleague from Bielefeld, who, for a case of family illness, had to return home in a hurry. We have a panel of very interesting interesting specialists on capacity building for threatened scholars, students, and academic communities. So, as the title suggests, this is binding together very heterogeneous projects. Two networking, one networking tool, a networking project, and actually an educational, integrational project. And I think we just let the three representatives give their introductory remarks and maybe have very brief question and answers immediately after each presentation, and then return to a larger, more consistent discussion at the final part of that session. Let me introduce you first Professor Dr. Carmen Bachmann, who comes to us from Leipzig, where she is a chairholder of the Chair for Business Taxation at the Leipzig University. She did her studies and PhD at the Augsburg University and then went to Japan, which is quite striking. And she passed, I think, several years, or was it 2 postdoc positions which you held? It was a fellowship, both at the National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies and later at the Waseda University, one of the most prestigious universities, private universities in Tokyo. And then she ended up in Leipzig. But she's not talking about accountancy today, but on her, a social media tool which has been designed for bringing together refugee and local scientists, academics, and students. And I think the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, for the nice introduction. As you introduced me, I'm a professor for business taxation, and I have to say, until 2.5 years ago, I did never deal with issues like with academic refugees or with the topics, with the interesting topics you have here today on the conference. So let me just tell you a little bit how I was getting involved in this part of science also. 2.5 years ago, I was sitting at home I was sitting in my office, and I was thinking I had a lot of things to do. My desk was full, and I had meetings and deadlines with the papers, and I saw only on the TV that people were coming, refugees were coming to Germany. I had no personal relation so far to someone from the refugee academic community, and I thought I have so much to do, and there are people coming, and they come, and maybe there are also academics, and they sit around and they have maybe nothing to do. And I thought it would just be nice, or it would just be good for us both. We could help each other if I could invite someone to my office, and maybe we could talk about how's research in Syria or Turkey or somewhere. But I had no idea how to find those people. So I asked one of my students who's sitting over there, he's now my PhD student, and I said, can you please build me a website? I want to make a website because maybe also other professors from other fields also want to find their peers beyond the academic refugees. And first he said to me, no, I don't learn this when I studied, and I said, but just try it, and after 4 weeks we had a website. So the website is intended that the refugees who come to Germany, who have an academic background, that they can easily find professors in Germany who are willing just to get an exchange with them, or maybe invite them, or bring them together in the field, for that they can hold on in their field at least a little bit, and can deal with their subject also when they're still waiting until they can get a position. So when we went online with the website, I can just shortly explain how the website is working. We started with 3 different groups. So we had the academics, the students, and the refugee scientists. You can register at the website. So far we have about more than 700 registrations. About 250 of them are refugees. You can indicate in which country of Germany, in which part of Germany you are located, and then you can say I'm a flat scientist or I'm a local scientist established, and then you can indicate what is your field, and then you can make a profile and you can start writing messages to get in contact. So when we started the website, it was like a wave, like a tsunami coming over us, because the media was there, and a lot of professors, German professors, called me and said, we want to also do this, we also want to support refugee academics, and because we thought after 4 weeks the work is done, we just make a website and give it to those people, and we had a lot of feedback, but the problem was we had no refugees. So at least there were a lot of German professors and also presidents from universities were calling and writing emails. I had so much emails every day, and everyone wanted to help, but we had no academics from the refugees. So I went to the refugee camps and thought, okay, then I have to find them. Because when there are so many people who want to support, then I have to find the academic refugees. And I went into the refugee camps, and until that I even had no idea that it will become a larger project. Until this moment still I thought, okay, I just have to find 1 or 2 and they will maybe spread it in the social media, and then the work finally will be done. And the first time in a huge refugee camp, there were about 1,600 refugees. I was running around with my flyer, and nobody understood what I want to do there with my flyer in my hand. Even the people from the Red Cross were wondering, because they were busy to give them food and everything. And I was running around and was thinking, is there an academic talking German or English? When I found the first one, he was an engineer. 5 minutes? Okay, I'm nearly done. I realized that it's much more just about bringing people together, because the person standing in front of me had his diploma, and he was flying from Syria, but what was he bringing to here was his diploma. And I realized that when he showed me his diploma, it's much more not just bringing the people together, it's just to the people also. I identify myself as a professor, and I understood that just finding those people, I mean, I could not offer much, I could just trying to bring the people together, and I felt it's already a value for him that he is recognized as an academic. And then I realized there is still much work Johannes and I will have to do. So finally we found a lot of academic refugees, and we also could match them. After 1 year or after 1.5 years, then I realized, even though we could bring the people together, that the website itself is not enough. Enabling the context was a first step, but we need further measures. Because I realized that the people also, when I bring them just together, there are a lot of cultural differences in the academic environment, and also the academic refugees, they need support how to behave in the German scientific landscape, because it might be different in other countries. Maybe it's it's quite competitive. Also, I think it's quite competitive in Germany, and also this is something some people, in my opinion, had to learn. And also I realized that just the perception as an academic and not the perception as a refugee was quite important. And the next thing I thought is because they lost their affiliation, they didn't belong to any university anymore. So I wanted to give them like a intermediate affiliation with Chance for Science. So what we did, we organized some workshops. I got some funding for workshops in which we could show the refugees. We could bring refugees from different from different countries together, where we teach what are the possibilities or where are limited opportunities in Germany also to get a professorship. And we made a conference, Academics on the Flight, was last year in September, where we had about 30 poster presentations because I wanted that the academics who are working with us, that they can show what they can and not the problem, what might occur that they had to leave the country. So this is just, I know I have to finish soon, so this is how we make the workshop. It was about funding opportunities, and it was quite amazing because we tried it to make in a very good style, and that they had also coffee and everything, that they feel like an academic environment. And even though we had about 6 or 7 stand tables, it was always the people who were standing on one stand table. I felt just bringing them together was to be in the same community again, as I felt it was a value. And then we made the conference Academics on the Flight, where we just tried to show the refugee academics' potential. And we tried on this, I also made some, we gave them the slides and the master slide for Chance for Science, that they can belong to Chance for Science because they had no possibility to write they are from this or this university. So just to finish soon, just impressions from the conferences. We had all of the speeches were from refugee academics who talked about 10 minutes only about their subjects and did break down their subject in a few in a few sentences. So I think I want to say maybe one. Do I have still 2 minutes or one? Okay. Okay, because you already told me. One thing I also realized is there is not a potential only maybe in the refugee academics, so there's also potential which is not, which we should use, is the potential from the professors who are established, because we are evaluating our students for when they do volunteer work or when they make social work. But as a professor, as I can talk, so I mean I'm only evaluated when I make third-party funding projects or how much articles I write. I'm doing since 2.5 years this project, and this is nothing which fits in the academic environment. And I think there is the willingness also from my colleague to do volunteer work or also to do social relevant things, but I think this is something which maybe is also a potential which could be used more from the universities. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bachmann. This would be the opportunity for the audience to come up with concrete questions to that particular project, but we would like to refer larger issues to the discussion at the end of the presentation, after the presentations. But if there are immediate questions, please.
My name is Mireia from the University of Oslo in Norway. And of course the question which we also want is, have you considered expanding to other countries?
Yes. Someone from Brazil asked, and we also did first I have to say it's a volunteer project, and it's mostly a one-man show. And we just received today from Australia that they want to spread it, but we are limited. So this is just this is a problem. But we already did also make it in Austria, right? Yeah. If so, we maybe made something, but it's just about half a year ago. we asked the law faculty, and they made us something like a license agreement so that we can give the template from the website also to other countries, and they can customize it as they would like it. Yeah, they came one time and they told me that they tried to bring directly persons together. This is something we also do. They came one day and asked us if we have refugees, maybe for them. So
Okay. Thank you very much. We certainly come back to the project later on. Now to something not completely different. While the first project was connecting people with people, the next project presented by Mireia, Nadal, and Chiva will connect people with jobs and doing the intermediate work of educating them for the jobs as well. Mireia Nadal Chiva is the graduate of the University of Barcelona, where she studied Arabic philology. And then she embarked into an accumulation of master degrees, which is impressive. She started at the University of Rovira in Virgili, right? With a master in Euro-Mediterranean relations and international relations. She then got a master degree in political science at the Université Saint-Joseph de Beirut, and went on for a master in refugee protection and forced migration at the University of London. But by that time, she already started working for ReDI School of Digital Integration, and that's where she is currently head of community development, and she's going to tell us more about that particular educational project. Thank you.
Hello. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Dr. Müller, for the kind introduction. So as he said, I'm here to present ReDI School of Digital Integration, which is a tech school, but I'll tell you much more about it right now. So I'd like to start just by saying hello. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a polite person, but I'm saying this word because it's a very important one at our school. At ReDI School, we believe that integration and inclusion always start with hello. And this is why we use it so much. At the same time, we believe that integration is nothing more than a conversation between two different people that come from very different walks of life, about a shared passion or a shared interest. And actually there's nothing, for us, this is really what looks like integration. So here we see Rami, one of our students from Aleppo, discussing with Mark Zuckerberg, about his plan to develop a technology using VR to call his mom in Aleppo and make it more like as a lively and more connected experience. Of course, this doesn't happen every day, but this is the ideal that we see. This is what integration really looks like for us. ReDI per se also started off out of a conversation that our founder, Anna Richert, had with Mouhannad, one young engineer from Iraq, that was claiming asylum in Berlin and was staying at a refugee camp in Buch. And Mouhannad was actually very worried because he could see that his programming skills and his tech skills were going away day after day by being in a camp without a laptop, without the right equipment, without Wi-Fi, and without opportunities to put his skills in practice and continue learning on his own. But the sad story is that Mouhannad was not the only one in that situation, because in that same year, 2016, from January to November only, we had more than 723,000 asylum applications in Germany. And prospects for integration into the labor market were not very good, as less than 30% of refugees in the EU are expected to find jobs within the first 5 years of arrival. But At the same time, we're very lucky to be in Berlin, in Germany, but specifically in Berlin, where only in November 2017, there were more than 55,000 open IT jobs, only in the IT field. And where projections into the near future show that within the next 5 years, there will be 500,000 missing engineers and natural scientists. So what many people saw as a refugee challenge, our founder saw as a refugee opportunity, and this is what we actually see as well. So why not providing a solution that gives value to the industry that is in need of talent, to a society that wants to be inclusive and integrative, and to this community of refugees that are highly skilled and very, very much talented and with very good backgrounds. And this is how the idea about a school came up. And this is what we've been doing since December 2015, when we started very, very small with a pilot course of 15 or 12 students learning Refugee on Rails, which is a programming language. And after 5 semesters, nowadays, we have more than 230 students in Berlin learning more than 14 different courses. So how do we work? Well, our main value, our foundational value is co-creation. So this sounds like a buzzword, but it's actually true. And our slogan is stop talking about refugees and start talking with them. So what we try to do every semester is we try to sit together with our students, with our refugees and newcomers, with the teachers and with representatives of the tech industry to design the courses that make sense for all of them. And this is the outcome for this semester, for example, where we have more than 14 courses. Don't worry, those of you that are not techies, I'm not a techie either. What you should know is that all these courses are in different fields in the IT industry that are in need of talent. Just like Mouhannad, who didn't have time to take the laptop with him, there are so many more students that either lost their laptops on the way, didn't take them with them, or were stolen in refugee camps or on the way. So that's why we also offer company-sponsored laptops for the duration of the courses. Our teachers are not really teachers, so we are not a scholarly or an academic organization, and we are more of a non-profit startup, and our teachers are not trained as teachers, but they are professionals and developers that work during the day and teach during the night or in the evenings. We also have courses run by companies that happen within companies. For example, Cisco, SAP, Microsoft having great partners in that, and they teach our students in the technologies that they need. This also gives them more chances to being employed afterwards. We really like that our courses are very much hands-on and very practical. We don't really like the lecture style of teaching, which is not very smart for me to say at a university, but this is true. And all of our courses are project-driven. So all the students have to develop a project during the course, applying the skills that they learn. And besides the courses, we also often offer company visits. So we take the students to different companies, big and small, startups as well, so they can see not only what it feels to learn programming, but also what it looks like to be a programmer and to work. And it all culminates in the graduation day or demo day, where the students are trained in presentation skills, pitching skills, and public speaking to present their projects in front of a large audience. If anyone is interested, next demo day is next week here in Berlin. So what is the outcome? Because as I mentioned, we are not an official school, we are not an institute, a university, so we can't really issue certificates, which is what most of these refugees are really looking for, and actually in Germany it's very much needed. We can't do that. What we do instead is we can offer letters of participation stating that that student completed that course, but most importantly, by the end of the course, the students have a project that they can show to potential employers and a portfolio. These are some of our partners. I'm not going to go deep into this, but we are in Berlin. We are privately funded by big IT companies, but also non-IT related companies like Cologne, who is an aluminium company. And in Munich, we are funded by the Munich municipality, so it's a public funding. Our community is what we are most proud of. And right now, in the regular program in Berlin, we have 158 students, 74 female students in the women program, and also 9 kids learning robotics and programming at Willkommensklasse. And we have just launched our new program in Munich with 75 students. But how are these students? What are their profiles? Well, not all of them are from Syria. At the beginning, we had 85% of Syrian students, but now we have only 50%. And the other 50% are spread around Afghanistan, Eritrea, Iran, Iraq, you name it. And they're basically quite young, between 21 and 30-year-old. Their education level, they're actually quite highly educated. Most of them have finished their bachelor at university in their home countries, and 25% of them have only started university but didn't have time to actually complete it. And this would be surprising, but 30% of the students we have come from social sciences and humanities. So for most of them is also a chance to redirect their career to another field that they might have not explored. Our volunteers are all from the IT community and come from different backgrounds, but mainly startups. And what's most important, does it work? What's the impact that we have? Does it all make sense? Well, this is difficult to measure. So we have some numbers. We passed a survey last January to our 380 alumni. Only 113 of them replied, so I don't know whether that's an indication. But of those that replied, 27% are back at university, mostly in IT-related bachelors. 17% have found IT jobs, and 20% are in internships. But still, the majority are looking for jobs or are doing jobs in completely different fields. Numbers is one thing, and numbers are important, but what makes us really much more proud is the role models and being able to empower people that are very talented and just needed this push. So this is the example of Gate and Munzer here, who are trying to improve e-government in Germany, which is a big issue, by developing a mobile app that helps locals and foreigners alike to navigate the complicated German bureaucracy. They're halfway there. We have Sana here, who is a great engineer, a brave woman in tech, and who is interning at Cisco and working with groundbreaking technologies like blockchain. We have Amar, who is now a working student at Capgemini, and he is doing research in the field of cybersecurity. And we have Fadi, who is not that technical, but who launched his own startup empowering refugee women who might not be very good at coding, but are very good at cooking delicious food for Syrian catering. As much as we can, we try to empower thought leaders. Angela Merkel does not visit us every week. That was only just that one day. But we try to let them know that there's big talent coming in. We've also been involved in the creation of educational and tech ecosystems. For example, the Digitales Lerncentrum initiative was sponsored by Facebook, and it's a hub gathering many education and tech initiatives like us, and we are proud to be part of it. And what really makes us happier is to see our students coming back to us even after graduating or even after finding jobs. So I have to say these numbers are not updated. It's actually more than this right now. But by January 2018, we had 16 ReDI students that have come back as teachers and mentors, 2 students that developed their full curricula in 4 different languages, Arabic, Farsi, English, and German, on how to teach basic computer skills. And we have also many more refugees who are volunteering, not only with us, but in other organizations, and also replicating impact. So this is what we are in a nutshell. I'm really happy to answer questions as well afterwards.
Are there any immediate reactions and questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. To my right, there is Dr. Mouhannad Malek, who is a pharmacologist, currently a researcher at the Leibniz Research Institute for Molecular Pharmacology. He holds a PhD from the Cancer Research Center of Lyon in France, and he pursued some postdoc studies at the Barham Institute in Cambridge, UK, and he's Syrian. So he is indubitably a Syrian researcher. And being a Syrian researcher, he thought that he would call the network founded by him the Syrian Researcher Network. And he's going to introduce us to that particular researcher network. Thank you. talk?
No, it should be fine. I'm closing everything. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. As the introduction said, that I'm going to talk to you about the Syrian Researchers, which is the organization. Actually, it's more than an organization for me. It's kind of a dream that we managed to realize during the 5 last years. As you know, actually, in the Middle East, we have like a big problem. We have two things that are mainly dominating the scene in the Middle East: religion and politics. So during my career, I always realized that actually we should have an alternative. We know all the problems that are coming from these two things. I'm not saying that they are bad. I'm not saying that they are not good. All what I'm saying is that we need a new solution. And as a scientist, I think that science is really the solution for all our problems. So this is why actually in 2012 I have decided to create an alternative. I thought that, okay, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to show them that science could be a solution for all your problems. And simply, I would say as well stupidly, I started with Facebook page. I created a Facebook page. I named it the Syrian Researchers. And I decided to talk about science, how it's fun, how can I show you the analytical way of thinking, how can I show a nice cell in your body, colored with a lot of colors, etc., just to attract people to science, to show them it's kind of a good trap. Attract people to science, show them how fun it is, and then try to use it in their own life. Try to use it for their problems as a solution. We talk about secularism, for example. We try to talk about physics. We try to talk about medicines, all these kind of things, but actually it was, again, as a trap. We don't want to talk about science just for fun. We want to talk about science to show how important it is for us, Arab people or or Arab-speaking people in this area. So after 5 years, actually, we managed to recruit more than 1,500 people, not all in the same time, it was kind of a waves, who believed in this project and who believed that actually we need a new alternative for us. And this scientific movement, we were trying to publish about scientific articles and about scientific news, became suddenly the biggest scientific Arabic movement in the world in terms of content or in terms of followers. You will see the numbers later on. And all of that for sure is based on volunteering process. So no cost. It costs like something like $50 per month or something like that, but this is totally kind of free for everyone. So what are our aims? Actually, we try to increase the knowledge of Arabic speakers. We don't try to show off like we have diplomas, so we know everything about everything. No, that's wrong. We don't try to show this picture. We try to show more like we are equal, but we know a lot about science, and we want to use it. We want to introduce it more in the Arabic society. We try to make the scientific articles that are really hard to understand, understandable this time for the layperson. So even my mom, who didn't go to the university or didn't even finish her school, could understand what a Japanese team discovered yesterday in Tokyo. We were like trying to broadcast this scientific knowledge, this scientific way of thinking to all the Arab-speaking people inside Syria, outside Syria, inside the Arab world, outside the Arab world. But we had two red lines. We didn't have any taboo. We could talk about everything, seriously everything. But we didn't want to talk about politics or religion because it was the only way for us to divide people. For us, science is like football. It's kind of a federator. You can see a football game in 2006, I think, in Iraq. The football team managed to gather all the Iraqi, Shia, Sunni, anything, even atheists. They were supporting this team, which politics and religion didn't manage to do. Science is able to do the same thing. And this is why I didn't want to choose neither politics or religion to avoid any divisions in the Arab society. So let me give you a few numbers, because I like numbers. It shows you a little bit more about the truth of this team. So for our team, for example, this is a recent study that we did. We are today 400 people. We have 36 PhDs, 166 master, 146 bachelor degree, and over 200 graduate students. You have to know how we are organized. We are organized in 33 different teams. We talk about medicines, we talk about biology, architecture, engineering, even music and art. We talk about everything, even sexual education, which is kind of a taboo for the Arab society. We are living in 43 different countries, so from Japan to the US, going through the Middle East and Europe. We have even people in Brazil or Honolulu. Once we had someone, I mean, weird countries that I haven't heard about them at all in my life. And all of them, they share the same aim, is to spread science in the Arab world. And we are not just Syrian. This is the amazing thing. Sometimes I receive calls from Egyptian, from Qatari, from Saudian, even people from Israel. Imagine Israel, for like to talk between a Syrian and Israeli guy, it's just unbelievable. And we received calls from Israeli people asking us, oh, can we join your movement? Sorry, can we join your movement? And for sure, we had to say no at some point because we didn't want to threat people who are inside Syria. So this is the team actually. It's so heterogeneous. It's really representing Syria on itself. We are from different social levels, different cultural background, different religions. Some people who are with the regime, we don't care. Some people are against the regime, again, we don't care. Some people are putting the picture of Bashar al-Assad, and some people are putting the picture of the opponent, the main opponents of Bashar al-Assad. They work together, they try to work together, they forget their differences inside the work online, but yeah, on their lives, they are different. We have Muslim, we have Christian, we have atheist, we have heterosexual, homosexual. We have kind of everything in the Syrian researchers, and we don't care, simply, because this is Syria. And what we want to try to show our population is that we managed to live together for over 3,000 years now. We can go back and work together, and it's working. Science is really doing it. So how do we proceed? Quickly, we prepare, we take the articles from the scientific community from here, Germany or Japan or US, etc. We try to translate them into an easy Arabic language. We try to broadcast it immediately or publish it immediately. We try to advise people how to get to the universities, because we have people behind who are supporting and helping, kind of mentoring system. So, for example, I am a scientist in Germany. I can help someone who is in Syria or in Jordan to come to Germany. I will teach him how to proceed, how to apply, and how to do his CV, etc. And we have a lot of people who are willing to do this kind of thing. We cover and organize events inside Syria and outside Syria. Even the UNICEF asked us once to do a project for them related to education in Syria in many areas that belong to the regime or under the control of the regime, or they are under the control of the opposition, for example, in Idlib. And we try to make science attractive and reachable. Few statistics, we publish roughly speaking about 50 articles. We have published so far 40,000 articles since 2002. We have 460 visits per month to our website. We have 2.3 million followers on the social media. It's split between Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And we share the same objective, and we help 11 other scientific movements around the world. Today we have Egyptian researchers, Jordanian researchers, Iraqi researchers, etc. All of these movements started to grow up like champignons, as we say in France, but yeah. And then, yeah, it's kind of working very well. I'm gonna finish here with our partners, and please, if I am here today is just to tell you, if you think that this project can help you in any way, please use it as a tool for you, as a marketing tool, as a networking tool, or as anything you can think of. Other partners thought about it. They came to us. They offered us partnership. We are not profit organization like the UNICEF, British Council, Queen Rania Foundation. We did a MOOC, kind of a course online that reached over 25,000 people around the world, and even Chiron, which is our best partner here in Germany, and we managed with them. Here is a picture of me and the ex-CEO of Chiron. We broadcasted a video. In 48 hours, we had over 1,250 applications to have 200 scholarship offered by Chiron. It needed just 48 hours for them just to reach over 1,000 applicants. And this is why we try to collaborate with any organizations that is aiming for science spreading. I'm not going to go into the details, but all what I want to tell you is that we have an opportunity today. We don't try to teach people who are educated. What we want is to create a debate. We want to talk about evolution and homosexuality and sexual education, not for the sake of talking about it. We want to create the debate. We want to show that actually we can talk about everything as far as it's related to science. And this is going to show us how we can talk about anything in the future, even in politics or in religion. Actually, we learn from science how we talk in order to apply it in other fields. This is exactly what we are aiming. We don't want to teach people who are already educated. We want to teach everyone everything about debate. Just in 2012, I remember when we were talking about evolution, for example, we were receiving threats, death threats, because people think that actually evolution is against God's will or God existence, etc. And today, in 2018, these numbers or let's say this threat are going really down because of the awareness that has been raised during the last 5 years. And our hope is to create something related to science in the Middle East. Is like Sesam. Look at the amazing stuff that science can do. Sesam is a research center in which you have Israeli, Iranian, Turkey, and Cyprus people working all together. So now you know that Iran and Israel, they are fighting each other inside their new playground game, which is Syria. They are fighting each other, but they are working together here. Cyprus is not even recognized by Turkey, but they are working together here. And the director of this institute said, it's a miracle how this project started and how it's working, and everyone is working together. There is no differences when it comes to science. So who knows, maybe in Syria we can create this kind of thing in the future. So please help us to establish science as an alternative in the Middle East. If you think about any project you might think of, any way that you can use this tool and you put it in your pocket, just do it and just contact us whenever you want. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Malek. This was an amazing project. And the first thing that comes to my mind is I want to learn Arabic to benefit from that. And the second thing is we should avoid any question on author rights issues. The floor is open for the discussion, but first I'd like to ask specific questions or remarks that would concern that particular project, as we did with the others before. So if there are any specific inquiries, come forward right now. Yes, please. No, just we have it. So as we have it.
I'm a physicist, so when you put up Sesame, there is another project even of the same magnitude that is soon to start. It's already decided which partners and everything. So there are more programs like that in the science physics area just for the Middle East.
Sorry, I couldn't understand the question. So you are asking if
it's not a question, it was just an information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for sure, there are a lot of projects that are similar to ours, and we are not saying that we are the only one. But all what I'm saying is that we are, let's say, the only one which are developed into two organizations, real organizations. One is registered here in Germany, and one is about being registered in Syria. And now a lot of organizations around the world, like the UNICEF, the UNESCO, etc., they are struggling to go into Syria, to try to do projects inside Syria, to try to reach these refugees, to try to go into the refugees camp, and then they can't because simply they don't have a mediator over there. So this is, let's say, our leverage. And our stuff that will distinguish us from others.
My name is Qasim Al Said. I'm a Syrian researcher also. So I would like to ask you a question. Do you think that a scientist could avoid or separate politics and science?
Who?
A scientist.
A scientist. To be honest, yeah, we are all human at the end of the day, okay? So I can say that a scientist cannot, as a human being. And I always say that the Syrian researchers, it's not even neutral, because being neutral, it's already a position. So we are not with the regime, we are not against the regime, we are not even neutral, but we don't have a position as Syrian researchers. However, the people who are making the Syrian researchers, everyone has a position. I have my own position. I share it on public. I try sometimes to avoid it because we have this tendency in the Arab world to summarize an organization by its head. So if I am opponent to Bashar al-Assad, they will think that the Syrian researchers organization is opposing Bashar al-Assad. And I don't like that, but we have to deal with it. So yes, each one has its own position. No, we cannot being able to separate politics and science because it's the essence of our life and it's affecting us anyway. But yeah, we try we try to be gatherer, federator, this kind of thing. Do we manage? I'm not sure.
Yes, of course, please.
Can I follow that question just briefly? Do you find, I mean, as you grow, there must be, the site and the platform must sometimes get polluted in political discussions. How do you manage that? How do you curate the conversations?
So actually, you are totally right. Succeeding is good and it's amazing, but keeping the success is really much more difficult. And then we are facing it today. So to keep it always a good project in the eyes of our followers, we have always to bring new things. Okay, it's like a company. If you always offer the same product, people would get fed up and then, okay, that's fine, science, I'm fed up, I would jump to something else. So we have always new challenges. This is why what we are trying to do now is to jump into a new project, for example, which is more interesting for both sides. European from one side and the Arab, or let's say the Arab-speaking refugees from other side. And we try to connect them. So for example, our organization today is going to try to create bridges between the German society and, or the European society, sorry, and the refugees community. We try to be part of the reconstruction phase in Syria. We know that it's not time for it, but we know that it's going to happen. So we are offering projects, we are offering opportunities for both sides, so they will find it attractive. So they will come to us. If we stay always translating articles, etc., it's not going to work for more than 1 year. And for sure, this is what we try always to do, unfortunately. But the problem is that we don't have financial support. As I said, it costs like $15 per week or per month. For sure, if I had, let's say, $100,000 budget per month, things will change a lot. And now we are hoping with the fact that we have an NGO registered in Germany. It has been registered last month. I think now we are going to jump to another phase and another level.
Thank you very much. So I would invite the audience to embark into maybe a discussion also on a comparative level. As far as I can see, these are very distinct projects, but the overarching terminus had been capacity building. And you had been claiming that in a wider sense, science is working as maybe even as a point of reference for a future identity of the Syrian people. My question to that would rather be, do you consider yourself still as an exile community, or is this not rather something that tends to be projected into a large-scale Syrian network that would maybe even bypass and go beyond an exile? community?
Yeah, to be honest, we don't. I don't think that we consider ourselves as exile community. What we try to be is to be part of the society, hosting society. I don't think that I'm an outsider. I think I am French, a real French. When I had the French nationality, I think that I belong to this country, and I think a lot of other people as well. They do believe in the values of the Republic in France, or in the German law, or in the Norway, or whatever. I think we. I think it's like everything. Biologically, we are made, sorry to talk as a scientist, but biologically we are made through this evolution and adaptation process. So we need to adapt. And to adapt, we need to be part of our new atmosphere. And this is what I think it's making us part of the society, not an outsider or not like an exile, like someone from the outside. No, I don't think that we should think this way. And a lot of people don't think this way, to be honest. You talk today to a lot of Syrians, they will say, oh, when I will get the French nationality or the German nationality, I will do this and do this and do this. Now I can't. And this is an indicator because it's showing you that they want to be part of it. Not just getting benefit of it, but being part of it and participating into the building of this hosting society. This is my take on it.
Did the ReDI School for Informatics in any case, have you been aware of that network? Because you are producing science as well with Syrians, and is there any connection, any link between the two yet?
Officially, I'd say I think we have never worked together as organizations. I know that our founders is well aware of this initiative. As a remark, I'd like to say as well for us the big value that networking has. So, So you described there are two initiatives as networking initiatives, and it's actually true, or network-oriented initiatives. I would say in our case, network is also one of the crucial aspects, and when we talk about integration as something that is around a shared passion or a common value, I see that this is a lot of what he was actually talking about, and this is how we actually use tech to something that unites people. But we're not only trying to bring together people from the same community, would say all Syrians or all newcomers or all refugees, but we're trying to bring together also different actors, which is something that doesn't happen so often, like the private sector, companies, who at the end of the day would have to be the future employers of these people that come here, or the civil society or the broader society by bringing volunteers in. And yes, we are related to science in a way. IT would not be the traditional science. Something that we discussed before jumping on this panel, Dr. Müller was saying, well, you are very privileged because you work in the digital field where job opportunities are really, really out there, and you find many of them. And it's true, it's not a traditional field. And it's also much more flexible, so we don't require, jobs in the IT industry don't even require so many qualifications or so many university degrees, whatever. But yes, I would say that we are still in this science field, but our aim is not so much to produce scientists, but to connect people from very different backgrounds and to enable integration through that connection.
The chance for science could be also a label for your network, of course, but what you are trying to do, as far as I understood, is rather to provide also professional opportunities by linking academics and each other. Do you have any numbers to which extent the relations established through the chance science network
I don't.
to professional careers?
I mean, I don't control this. I cannot see when the people write. I know when there's traffic on the website or if there's less traffic. Sometimes we receive a response, and also some people just write me an email because they don't want to register. And these people we try to bring together with other professors from their field via email, because I feel when I write an email and I say I'm from Chance for Science, can you please have a look on this CV? It might be more helpful when they get the email from me, because I'm a colleague, I feel they rather have a look on it. What we share in our project maybe is, or what I think what we share is, we try to bring people together by knowledge, which is the common thing, to bring the people together who want to exchange knowledge. You have, in addition, the point that the Arabic point, and you bring the people together if there might be a need for exchange, or in a special position or not. You just bring them, so you have we have on our platform there are two different groups, and the flat scientists or the flat academics, they are in need, and we have on the other side the people who want to share knowledge to help. So and maybe this is slightly different.
The requests within the network,
Mm-hmm.
are they rather something like a contact marketplace, so that people
Yeah, it's
advertise their interest and look out for matching partners, or is it very concrete, also looking for jobs, looking for research opportunities, looking for positions?
This is something we cannot provide. I mean, we can make some job announcement or something, but it's a volunteer website. It's not a. But the thing, the idea behind is more to have also support for academic refugees on a personal level, not on an institutional level, because it's too much for the institutions. They cannot handle the huge amount of academic needs from refugees also coming. And so I think it's not a big deal for a professor maybe to just meet who is established and has just a few hours teaching load. So maybe have also take in his class some other academic refugees, some students who have no place to study right now. So this is more to support the personal level, or the potential from support on a personal level.
I have one more question to Carmen. From the Scholars Quest network, we often see that scholars feel like scholars, but not like refugees.
Yeah.
And of course, the refugees that you are dealing with are mainly with refugee status, I suppose. So do you see people are reluctant to, ticking off the box, I am a refugee academic? That they are reluctant to go out and say, I am a refugee.
So you think it might be not good when they register and they have to say, I'm a flat scientist. Yeah, but I think that I understand this question, but I think then it's if I think when would be a flat scientist, I want to know if I meet, because they're so different groups, they have different needs. When the flat scientists, when they meet together, they have other things to talk together, and also the flat scientists can find other flat scientists, but they can, it's just something how to distinguish and how to, I mean, if I'm registering on a dating website, but I also like to talk with women maybe, but on this point I'm searching maybe for a man. So this is it's just how to find the special group I'm looking for, and if they want to find someone who is established and can maybe help me with to make some contacts in this environment, in this academic environment in my city, this is different when I want to meet other flat scientists.